Hi, this is Stacy Hernandez with the Best You College Admissions Consulting. The best college for the best you. I'm getting lots of questions about getting deferred through early action and early decision. So the big question I'm getting is, what can I do now that I've been deferred? So if you are someone who applied early decision or early action to a school and has been deferred, you have been deferred, here are some pointers and some things to be thinking about for the next step in your admissions process. So you already know that you've been deferred, and that with the deferral really means that your application has been moved over to the regular decision pool. So congratulations on staying in the process and not being denied admission. So you are still in the admissions pool. So one of the things that students automatically start asking me is, okay, should I get more letters of recommendation? What should I be doing? The number one thing is colleges don't need extra materials. They're not necessarily looking for extra letters of recommendation, extra paperwork, extra pieces of the application per se. Unless the college is really specifically asking for that, I would encourage you to avoid letters of recommendation. That just adds more clutter and more stuff that the admissions counselor has to read. Remember, in the regular decision pool, it's a larger applicant pool. So that means more applications to read in very few months. So you're saying that most college admissions counselors start reading applications anywhere around Christmas time, and they'll go until usually the first week in March if they're doing a full regular decision process. Some try to release decisions along the way throughout January through March, but many schools will just continuously read applications from really January to the beginning of March. So that's a small amount of time for thousands and thousands and thousands of applications that colleges have to read. So extra materials doesn't necessarily make them happy, and it doesn't necessarily change the tone of your application. Typically, we see the same things in an application if you get 3 letters from teachers or 2 letters from teachers. So there really usually isn't a change of perspective when it comes to adding letters of recommendation. So instead, some colleges, what they request if you've been deferred is they actually have their own deferral form. And what that means is they want you to fill out the form with any new application updates. So if the school gives you a form to fill out, you should definitely be taking advantage of that form and filling out any new updates. If the school doesn't supply a form, many schools still do appreciate updates. I think updates are very important. And so how you can do that is in one of 2 ways. One, you can send an email to the admissions counselor who represents your state or country if you have access to that information. Some colleges do not give you access to that information. Some colleges do. So that is one way. Or you can email the general admissions email and ask them to forward this or include this in your application. So what these updates would include, whether it's through the form or through an email, again, in writing is best. Paper mail isn't ideal. So again, email format or through this written form. And what you want to include are important updates. So these important updates are things that are new. Let's say you took extra testing, so give them updates on your testing. Let's say you won a competition. That should be in that update. Let's say you did a new activity. Add that to those updates. Let's say you wrote this incredible paper on a topic that's appropriate to the major you want to study, and you got such incredible feedback from your teacher. You can talk about, I just did this big research project and it was about this, and I got great reviews from my teacher. So those sort of things you can do as an update. So they really want to know extracurricular updates, any honors or award updates, any new achievements, anything that is missing from your application now that you want to update. is the way to use this deferral process. So you get the deferral within mid to late December. You want to make sure that you are notifying the college of those updates, I would say probably by the first or second week in January. So that way your application is updated, and when they re-review your application in the regular decision pool, they have more information when they're evaluating your application. So you can always contact the admissions office and say, what kind of updates are you looking for? You're welcome to do that. Most schools, again, are looking for more extracurricular updates, if there's test score updates. Also, the biggest update that colleges want to see are mid-year grades. So they want to know how your first semester went, your first quarter, your first marking period, your first two marking periods, or your first two quarters. They want updated grades. So that's one of the biggest significant pieces of this update that you're going to provide. Those grades are either typically sent through your school. So either the college requests those mid-year grade reports through your high school counselor directly, or they send the request through the student, and the student has to go to the high school to get that request sent to the college. So grade updates, if there are any new testing updates, if there are new extracurricular activities, achievements, accomplishment updates, that's how you want to use this defer. Make sure if the college asks, do you want to stay in the pool? Do you want to stay as a deferred applicant? You say yes if you're still interested in that school. So some schools will automatically roll you over and they won't ask if you want to stay in the pool. Some schools will ask you if you want to stay in the pool. So it's just important to pay attention to the paperwork that you've received from the institution or the email you received about your decision. So again, this is Stacy Hernandez with the Best You College Admissions Consulting, the best college for the best you. My website is thebestyou, you as in the letter U.net. And thank you for your time.